Listen, you want to see, you're watching Guns N' Roses.
Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to GNR Central. And it's Sunday morning, which means it's time to talk about your guys' comments on my channel the last week. So the first video I put up last week was a news video about the man who reunited Guns N' Roses finally giving an interview. So Paul Tillett, who's the organizer and the main guy behind Coachella, gave an interview and talked about how he basically reunited Guns N' Roses and how he basically also worked on some of their early shows. And it was a pretty calculated way he went about trying to get the band members to talk and do Coachella, which I thought was really interesting. So let's look at some of your guys' comments. So Ross said, Guns N' Roses are getting me through a hard time right now. Love them. So I think for a lot of people, including myself, like Guns N' Roses music has always been there and always helped us through tough times. So let me know if you guys have used Guns N' Roses music to get you through some really difficult times. Let's see some of the other comments. I also talked about Matt Sorum playing with Motorhead and how he was Lemmy's second choice because Dave Grohl wasn't available. And you guys basically agreed that Dave Grohl would have been probably a better drummer, but I think that's still pretty cool for Matt Sorum to play with so many great bands over his career. You know, Guns N' Roses, The Cult, Velvet Revolver. Although I wouldn't say Velvet Revolver was a great band. I'd say they're a decent band. And then Motorhead, of course. Johnny said, I love the Attitude song intro at the beginning. That's really good. So if you guys are wondering which song it is at the beginning of when Richard Fortus introduces my channel, it's Attitude. It's like the tail end of the song. And that really the thank you should go to Franz. He's the one who came up with that. You guys also talked a bit about Metallica, because I did talk about Metallica in the video, saying my worst enemy said Metallica is a touring machine. They work harder than bands half their age. So the next video I put up last week was one of my favorite stories that I've come across, and this video really is a big thank you to Kevin. Kevin is the one who told me about the story. I wasn't even aware of it, and I think a lot of you guys weren't aware of it either. So it was about the Guns N' Roses and Poison feud. Now, back in the late 80s, Slash was doing an interview where he basically badmouthed Poison in the press, and the members of Poison, at least some of them, got wind of it, and they weren't very happy about it. So they took out their frustrations on Guns N' Roses publicist Bryn Breidenthal, who worked for Geffen Records at the time. And it resulted in a lawsuit and a lot of back and forth, and the members of Guns N' Roses signed this really nice card for Bryn to like show their support. So you guys, here's what you guys had to say. So Carlos said, I read somewhere that Axl said in an interview if he was in a room with 4 members of Poison, he would be the only one out of that room alive, which I found funny. I'm sure he's probably referenced Poison before. There was a show in '91 where Axl was joking and said it's a sad day because Poison broke up today. Michael had really nice comments. He said, stories like this is why I love this channel so much. I've never heard of this till now. I was fully aware that GNR hated the glam metal scene, and Slash mentioned their dislike of Poison in his book a couple times, but the attack on the publicist, that's pretty awful. It seems a bit out of character for Bret Michaels to do something like that, but I've never been that interested in him, so what I do now. Still, it says something about the character of GNR standing up for her and signing that card. That's pretty cool of them to do that. Thanks for sharing this. Chris said, I met Slash in '97 and asked him if he ever wanted to kick CC DeVille's ass for stealing his top hat look. Slash said no, but I almost kicked his ass for something else. Then we talked about Denny's after that. George Onefoot said, every rose has its thorn just like every night has its dawn. It's referencing a lyric from Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Now, I've always had a soft spot for Poison. I do like hair metal, but of course, Guns N' Roses are miles better than Poison in my opinion, but I still do like some of their songs. Isaiah said, Poison rocks. I saw them last summer and they were great. I just wish they would play longer. Other people said, Dave said, I love your show. You do such a great job. Thanks, Dave, for the nice comments. Stag said, I really appreciate the time you put into this and the frequency you put out. Just wanted to let you know. Karen said, Slash with makeup, he's a beast. So another thing I talked about is how Slash auditioned for Poison. There's conflicting stories on exactly what happened. Slash claims that he just wasn't into the makeup look, and Bret Michaels said, well, we thought CC would be a better fit. So but at the end of the day, those guys are friends now, and there's really no animosity between them. Darth said that Poison sucks, and a lot of people agreed with his comment. So the next video I put up of last week was Slash's brother attacking fans online. So Slash's brother is a real piece of work, I gotta say. He's got his own company called Con Art, and they do a lot of they've done album covers for Slash's stuff. They've done other art, and there was this whole controversy that he was selling these Slash paintings or drawings for like $1,000 online, and it was just ridiculous. It was signed by his brother, but Really, $1,000 for that? So a lot of fans, including one of Slash's fan groups, criticized him online, and Slash's brother lost his shit, basically telling the guy to F off, saying he'd ban him from Slash's future shows. So you guys had a lot of comments to say about this. So KBLP said Ash and Fernando should hang out together. It would be one crazy combo. I think realistically, Fernando's too busy designing useless shirts for GNR in an era that nobody ever asked for. Johnny says Slash's brother is a piece of work, and he got a lot of thumbs up on that comment. Muscle Man said Slash's brother is very jealous. I think he wants money. While Sean said Slash's brother should read our comments, he will flip out when he hears that Buckethead is just as good as Slash's comments, if not better. Not to mention Sid's sarcastic comments about the merchandise prices. Laugh out loud. Yeah, see, that's the thing about my channel, guys. I'm not going to give you some filtered BS about how great Guns N' Roses are all the time. I'm going to give you my opinion about it. Unlike a lot of channels out there that are basically doing the bidding of the band, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I think it's ridiculous to charge $1,000 for a painting or a drawing when the box set is the same price. Or actually, the box set's like $0.01 cheaper, I think, if you do the actual math. Steven said the perfect dysfunctional band, referring to Guns N' Roses. 19 Grand said money grabbing, would rather have a Slash signature Les Paul. Peter said Slash, in all fairness, doesn't sound as good anymore as he sounded a lot better when he was a junkie. Just saying, this is a personal opinion. It kind of reminds me of when Marilyn Manson said that some bands are better on drugs than they are sober. I think he was referring to Guns N' Roses. William said, so certain people aren't allowed to freely express their views as socialized fans are? Why not? And if something's too expensive, don't effing buy it. My next video, which was kind of a breaking news video that came out the same day as the Slash's brother video, was that Brian Johnson supposedly confirmed that AC/DC is working on a new record. And there's all these rumors about whether they're going to tour on it, whether Axl's going to be on it. So the rumor was that Brian Johnson ran into this band at an airport and basically said, yeah, he's back in AC/DC and they've got a new record coming out. It's almost done, apparently. So there was those rumors a couple months ago where AC/DC was spotted in Vancouver, Canada, by some people who were basically across the street from their studio. And nothing was really confirmed by the band at that time, but here's what you guys had to say. So ADHD said, no Axl, the album is for Malcolm. SMS said Axl did a good job. Ron said, God, I can't wait for the new album. AGS said, if Brian is confirmed, I doubt Axl will be on it. So the other part of the rumor is that they won't be touring on the record. It's going to be a tribute album to Malcolm. They're going to be using some of his old guitar parts and really writing the songs around that. So once we get more information on that, guys, I will let you guys know. Saint of Fate said, I thought he was dead this whole time, referring to Brian. Of course, he was just joking. Marianne said, thanks, Sid, for the info. Looking forward to seeing any new music from AC/DC. And if any surprises with guests like Axl, I would be interested in hearing new songs. So even Eddie Trunk commented on it. And one of his callers claimed that one side of the record is going to be Brian, the other side is going to be Axl. My honest opinion is that I don't think Axl would be singing on the record. I don't see any reason why he would need to or why he'd have to be there. I think it's more of a tribute to Malcolm, and I don't think having Axl would really do much on the record. My favorite video, or my second favorite video of the week, and by far the most popular upload I had this week, which has almost got 10,000 views, was the final rehearsals between Axl and Slash and Duff back in 1996. So there's a lot of great interviews from 1996 just before he got back in the studio with Guns N' Roses. There's the interview he did with MTV. There's the one on Howard Stern's show just before he dropped out of the band. And it kind of paints a different picture than what you read in his book. You know, there's one of the interviews he says, oh yeah, we've got like 80 songs ready to go. And then when you read his book, years later, you find out, well, they had all these instrumental songs. Axl didn't sing on anything. And the tension between the band was pretty much at a boiling point, and things fell apart. So one of the comments was 11/21, all things considered / classic Slash interview. If you've ever watched any of Slash's interviews, even from like before he got sober, he says all things considered so many times. I feel like I could make a Guns N' Roses song just with him saying all things considered and then have like an instrumental in the back. Maybe I'll do that during like April Fool's Day or something. Nicholas said Guns died when Adler was sacked. Matt Storm has zero groove. Can you imagine him in a funk band? Carlos said, I remember seeing the announcement when Slash left the band. Brings back good and bad memories in the same time. Good memories because MTV still played music, and bad memories because it was the day we all know Slash was out of GNR. Andrew said, great upload. Matt Patricia Guerrero said, if I recall correctly, his last recording with Axl and GNR was the remake of Sympathy for the Devil for the movie Interview with the Vampire, or was it Oh My God, the soundtrack for End of Days? So Slash was not around when they did Oh My God, and it wasn't even something that they actually worked on whenever he was in the band. Oh My God didn't really come together until 1997 or so, and they apparently started writing it when Duff and Matt were still in the band. Lee Vincent said, so are we going to get a new Guns N' Roses album or albums? Axl is not with AC/DC anymore, but Brian Johnson is back in black. Laugh out loud. Ian said it was pretty simple. Axl wanted complete control over the band's sound, and he wanted to take into an artsy and softer direction, and Slash wanted to keep playing fast and heavy like an Appetite. Slash hated everything about Sweet Child of Mine besides the solos, said it was too soft. So Tom said the best solution at the time was to make a double album, one being the kind of album Slash wanted to make, old school GNR, and the other would be Axl's ideas for a new sound. Everyone would be happy, including the fans. I think that's a pretty good idea. I think that would have been cool if the band had done that, but unfortunately they never did that. Cindy said some good dirty parts sound checks. Take care of your heroes in the press. It'll all work out. Did Kid Rock or Mitt Romney F him to death? Lexi or Gonzo or Jeremy? I don't know. Wow. And then finally, I had an upload about the true story behind one of my favorite bands, Steel Panther, and my other favorite band, Guns N' Roses, and just the true story behind them, how Steel Panther opened for Guns N' Roses, they opened for Slash, and just some stuff they've done with Steven Adler as well. And, you know, one thing that surprises me is Eddie Trunk is not a big fan of Steel Panther because he's got too much of a stick up his ass, and saying how it's not funny and it's mean what they're, you know, doing with some of the hair metal bands, some of the stereotypes. But I love those guys. I think in the politically correct environment we have now, I think Steel Panther is a band that we need more than ever. And I love those guys. Those guys, they write really catchy hooks. They write funny lyrics. Satchel's a great guitar player. All those guys are great musicians. So I'd always love to go see him. I was supposed to go see him last year, but I just didn't have the timing didn't work out. And the other thing I want to let you guys know is my wife and I were looking for something to do yesterday, so we were watching that movie Can't Hardly Wait on Netflix. You know, growing up in the 90s, I loved a lot of those teen comedies, and I totally forgot, but Paradise City is in the actual movie. And there's a scene where this kid is like, they're at a party, and this kid's pretending to be Axl singing Paradise City. And originally the chicks think he's kind of, you know, lame, and then all of a sudden he sings a lot of Paradise City in a similar voice to how Axl sings now, very Mickey Mouse-ish. And then all the chicks like fall in love with him and like want to go sleep with him. It's pretty funny. But if you guys haven't seen the movie, you want something to watch, go check it out on Netflix. At least it's in Netflix Canada. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and I hope you guys have a great week. Take care.
Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!